Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand. Welcome to Rebecca Brand Recipes. This is a show composed of cooking segments, and today's theme is holiday cooking. So if you see something you like, you want to try it at home for your holiday parties, I'm going to show you where you can go and get those recipes to try them yourself. So happy holidays, and let's get cooking. So pick your baguette, one with a lot of texture, because you want this to be very hearty as a savory appetizer. I'm using a sourdough baguette, but regular is fine too. Whatever seems to be the most hearty you can find at your grocery store or baker. I'm cutting it the same size, thickness, because I want it to broil at the same rate. I'm slicing at an angle because it's just more elegant to eat that way. We're going to toast each side, so I'm laying them out on a baking pan. Turn your oven on broil and stick them on the top shelf. Whenever I broil, I always turn my timer on. I'm going to put it on for 3 minutes because I turn my back and those things are in flames. And let's get our chocolate ready. I use dark chocolate. Apparently it has so many antioxidants and good things in it that you absorb the vitamins from your food better. So I break these up. And if it's not perfect, it's fine. Let's check, make sure it's okay. Yeah. No, I checked it after 2 minutes and it was ready. Thank goodness I was nearby. We're good with that. Flip them over and do the other side. But I see I have a hot spot because this part is more toasted than this. So I'm just kind of moving around a little bit. They kind of warp when you cook them. So do your best to get them to stay flat. 2 minutes this time. Okay. Oops. I knew I'd get a casualty or two. Just in the nick of time. Those are almost two done. So the ones that are perfect go back on the plate. Oops, I want a little more color there, so that's going to go back in. Not done. Not perfect. 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 The reason I'm a stickler for perfection on this one is I want it to be really crispy when you bite into it. It's just more fun to eat like that. All right, these are going back in for about 1 more minute. All right, they're all perfectly toasted. But I'm gonna drizzle the tops of them with olive oil. Drizzle, 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 drool. Time for us to go to cooking school. This is so fun. I hope you enjoyed as much as I do. Subscribe to my channel and let's cook more together. I am using a really good quality of extra virgin olive oil because I'm not going to cook these again. So all that beautiful flavor is going to stay. Now I do this fast. I'm just doing one side, and onto that I'm going to put my chocolate pieces. So the fatty pieces of bread get the fatty chocolate pieces. The skinny pieces of bread get the skinny ones. Right before your party starts, you want to melt that chocolate. So into that warm oven it goes for about, 1 minute, 2 minutes, because you want the chocolate to melt. And then you want to serve it kind of molten, but not bubble, so be careful. Just 1 or 2 minutes is all you need. You'll know it's done when the toothpick goes in and comes out really gooey in the center. So while that chocolate is really creamy, I take a toothpick and I just run it through and just spread the chocolate a little bit more on my crostini. That way every bite gets that delicious chocolate flavor. Now for our finishing touch, the star, the sea salt. So just a little bit. You don't want to overpower your guests with the salt, just enough to light up that chocolate and the olive oil. Let's try this. That's amazing. That chocolate will stay soft for an hour. It will not harden back up. Well, it's party time now. we're going to make an amazing asparagus wrapped in prosciutto appetizer for your next dinner party. The ingredients for this dish are asparagus, prosciutto, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, salt and pepper, and Parmesan cheese. Let's get started. First thing you do is you pre-oil that baking sheet with your olive oil. Smear it around so there's no sticky places. Couldn't be any easier to make this dish. You take your prosciutto, break it in half, and wrap it around each piece of asparagus and lay it on a baking sheet. I bought the asparagus that looked the fattest at the grocery store. It makes it a little more hearty that way. Your prosciutto usually comes in the deli section with pieces of plastic or paper in between. Roll them, cowboy. Look at that, like a little candy cane. And you just keep doing that. And wrap it quick. Because you're busy, you got a party to throw. Comment on my channel and tell me what your favorite dinner party appetizers are. I always need ideas for mine. I want to know what you think would be great. And you know what? I'd love to make it. It is so fun to have your guests wowed by your appetizers. It kind of sets the mood for the dinner. I hope you share my videos with your friends and give them these ideas too. You can do this a day ahead of time. Cover it with plastic and stick it in your fridge. So make sure they're not touching each other. You want the air to circulate around each of them individually. That looks great. The next step is you pour a little more drizzle of that olive oil, especially on the naked part of those little asparagus. They need the little suntan lotion because you don't want your prosciutto to dry out, nor your asparagus. Let's crack some pepper on there. And I like fresh cracked on this because of the texture and the look of that pepper. Now it's time for the salt. And because that prosciutto has a lot of salt, just put a little bit on the edges or the tips of the asparagus. That is just fine. Into the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes. It's ready, let's take it out. Oh yeah, look at that beautiful bright green color. Immediately, you gotta put that cheese on it because you want it to melt slightly. I transfer it with that melted Parmesan that has touched that hot plate. Because look at this. This is all hot, it's all melty. Isn't that great on there? All that Parmesan that hit the bottom of that pan has gotten soft and delicious, and it goes on top so you don't waste a thing. Time for the drizzle of that balsamic vinegar, the crowning glory. Oh man. So I serve this as a first course to my dinner parties. Time to try it. Oh my gosh, that rocks. That's awesome. Forget the fork. Subscribe to my channel and let's make a lot more yummy things together. Bon appetit. Yum. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and today we're going to make the most rich, luscious hot chocolate ever. The ingredients for this dish are real easy. It's just milk, heavy cream, brown sugar, chocolate chunks, dry cocoa powder, vanilla extract, a dash of cinnamon, and of course, homemade whipped cream. You're using that cream anyway, so why not make a batch of that to go on top? I've got a recipe on my channel, look for it. Now I have measured my mug and it takes exactly 2 cups of liquid to fill it. So this is my proportion for 2 cups of a recipe. You start with 1.5 cups of regular milk. This actually is low-fat milk. Now I'm adding half a cup of heavy cream. Heavy whipping cream, something really yummy to go in that. Now, this is what I do. I take 1/4 cup of brown sugar. This makes it really luscious. So that's gonna go in the milk while I turn that on, and I'm gonna bring that up to a scalding. And scalding is like a simmering, it doesn't boil. If you boil your milk, it tastes a little sour, and I can notice that difference. So I've turned this on high. I'm sitting here stirring it because I always like to get to the finish line fast. It's gonna take between 2 to 3 minutes to get that to scalding. But don't go too far because you don't want it to boil over and make a big mess. Hey, so I see my little bubbles coming up the side of that pan. That's how I know it's coming up to scalding. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, down to low. We turn it down to low. And let's pour our chocolate chips in. It's a little messy. I'm just gonna whip that up and melt it. Now that's just hot enough. I'm gonna turn that off. Incorporate all those little chocolate chips into your heavy, milky, creamy liquid. Well, there's more fun to be had. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder to it, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a pinch of cinnamon. I'm gonna mix that up, and all that chocolate powder is gonna dissolve in that beautiful base of the milk and the cream. This is just the best recipe for a cold winter night, and this is 1 big serving just for me. I'm telling you, I like all those rich ingredients because if I'm gonna go with those calories, it's gotta be really good. Oh my gosh, I can smell that chocolate. It is just amazing. What an aroma with the chocolate and that cinnamon. So let's pour it in our cup. Homemade whipped cream is one of my favorite things to have on hand, so I made extra. Oh, look at that. Let's put that right on top. That homemade whipped cream is the crown jewel on this dish. A little extra. Time to try it. I admit it. My name's Rebecca and I'm a chocoholic. Enjoy your hot chocolate. Sit by that cozy fire. Share this recipe with your friends. Click on that link and send it around. Subscribe to my channel and let's make a lot more stuff together. Voila. And today we're making Rocky Road candy, which is a really great present to give away, and it's very inexpensive. Let me tell you what's in it. Start with chocolate. Now, I'm using semi-sweet chocolate, but you can use dark chocolate, any kind of chocolate. I have found when I go shopping that buying this in the largest bags, it comes to be about $2 a pound. Then we're going to add nuts to it, any nuts you want. The peanuts are the least expensive, the pecans are the most expensive. Everything else is right in between. And marshmallows. It's a very quick recipe. You start it with just 2 cups of your chocolate. You need to melt it. I have a pot that this thing fits in like that, see? So we're gonna add some hot water to this. So here we go. Pour your hot water in that pot and turn it on high. And you just stick your chocolate in that bowl right on top. Now, if you don't have a little bowl that works for you, use another pot, slightly smaller. Now, see what I'm saying? Now, if you don't like that method, here's another one. Into the microwave. 1 minute, stir, 1 minute, stir, until it's melted. Any way you want to go is good with me. While that chocolate's melting, let's get our pan ready. You can use an 8x8, 9x9. This is just the one I had handy. I'm going to foil line this. Now I have some room temperature butter, and I'm going to put this down in it. You don't need that much, but I just find it helps to take tinfoil off when it's all ready. Take out your extra butter, because otherwise it looks yellow on the top of your candy. I've done this a few times. And once it starts melting, it really starts melting. Yeah, see how easy that is to stir now? That is terrific. And you're just gonna do it until all those lumps are out and it looks glossy. If you don't do it over a warm bath like this, you will have grainy, chalky chocolate. You don't want that. It's perfectly melted, we're ready to go. We're gonna need 3 cups of marshmallows, or a little more. Let's add our cup of nuts. I love cashews. Those are going in. Some pecans, a few almonds, and peanuts. In they go. In goes that hot chocolate. This is one of those decadent desserts. Okay, so now you toss. And you try to keep it in the pan. You might get a few to get away from you. So look at this. We're just mixing it right there. And you toss it like a salad. Up and down you go. And you just try to coat all that stuff that's in there. So when you see that most of the stuff is covered with chocolate, that is the time. You don't have to overwork it. It just takes like 20 seconds to do this. Then you just push it down. Flatten it, flatten it, flatten it. Now all that chocolate is going to be like the glue that holds the nuts and the marshmallows together. And this is going to go in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. That Rocky Road's ready but not fresh. Let's get it. Let me show you how we do this. It's just going to pop out. Look at that. Yay! You peel off the foil. Make sure you get all of it off. You don't want it in somebody's teeth. Okay, let's cut it. You do straight lines all the way through. I like to do them even and uniform. You don't have to saw it, you just press it. And now you cut it the other way. You need it cold so it doesn't stick and it cuts easily, because what you want is that look. Look at that. You can see the marshmallows, the nuts. That's beautiful. That recipe was only $4.50. That's because that chocolate was $2 a pound, buying it in that large quantity. And I used peanuts and then a little bit of the rest of the nuts. And I'm telling you, what a great present this would be for somebody. And you know what? This might be good for 2 or 3 people because there's a lot here. I always give my postman this for Christmas. He loves it. Isn't that beautiful? What a treat to walk into a party with. Look at all that candy. Let's try it. Oh, that is so great. This is better than any candy store anywhere because of that freshness. So make Rocky Road candy, subscribe to my channel, and share this with your friends. 'Tis the season. Yum. Happy holidays. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and today we're making blue velvet cake. It is an amazing recipe, and it's incredibly elegant. The ingredients for this dish are flour, cocoa powder, baking powder, butter, sugar, eggs, vanilla extract, milk, blue food coloring, and the frosting's made with butter, cream cheese, powdered sugar, vanilla extract, and just a little milk for thinning. First, we combine our dry ingredients, which is 3 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon baking powder, 1 tablespoon cocoa powder. I hate sifting, so I'm going to use a whisk, and I'm going to aerate that flour. That's what sifting does. I'm putting my dry ingredients aside, and I'm going to do my wet ingredients. And that is 1/2 cup of butter, which is the same as 1 stick. Now that is soft. It's at room temperature. I'm going to add 1 3/4 cup granulated sugar, and that's your basic white ground sugar. I put 4 eggs in this recipe. Let's combine this. So add your 1 cup of milk and put that vanilla extract in there. I'm using 2 teaspoons. Now while you're mixing it, add your flour mixture a little bit at a time. is a real issue. When you're making cakes, you do not want to overblend it. If you overblend that cake, it's going to be tough. You want it light and fluffy, but velvety creamy. Now take a look at that color. That is a chocolatey cake. We added that tablespoon of cocoa powder in there. But here comes magic. This is going to be blue velvet, as beautiful as the crown jewels. We're going to add in our blue food coloring. Now, I want it really luscious blue, so I add a little more, because at first that color is green. I don't want green, I want blue. Now I'm happy with that blue. Okay, make sure you have your cake pans prepared. I'm using an 8-inch round cake pan, 9-inch or fine too. I throw a little bit of corn oil in it. Any oil you got is fine, even butter. I just take a paper towel, wad it up, and I move that grease around. There we go. Then I throw a little flour in it and just swirl it around the pan. This takes only 10 seconds. Don't bother buying that expensive stuff that you spray on in the pan. You know, I'm happy to do it this way. We always have oil and flour in our kitchen. So let's put the batter in the pan. Now I just used a little paddle in there because it saves me from having to clean something else. And I just try to estimate 50%. Now that is what's important, and the reason is you want your cake to cook evenly in the oven. Then the next thing you do is you want to get it level, because you don't want that big hump in the middle like a turtle's back. So go like that. We're good. Now we're going to put them into a 350-degree preheated oven. Space them out so you have an even distribution of the heat. Bake your cake in that 350-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes. And let me tell you why. Every oven's different. So check it after 20, and if it looks quite undone, leave it another 3 to 4 minutes. But by no means overcook that cake, because if you do, it's going to be dry and icky. While our cake is cooking, let's put together our frosting. It takes 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. Room temperature is perfect. And 1.5 sticks of butter. That's equal to 3/4 cup. Let's combine those two together. Let's add 1 teaspoon vanilla. I'm adding 4 cups of powdered sugar, a little bit at a time. As that gets really thick, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of milk at a time. It's about 1 teaspoon of milk for every cup of powdered sugar. Let's put the rest of our powdered sugar in now. My frosting recipes always are a little bit bigger than normal because I never like to run out of frosting on a cake. It is all combined, and that's a beautiful consistency for our frosting. Here's the big surprise with that blue velvet cake. You always wonder how they get those beautiful colored sugars at your grocery store, and they cost so much money. Let me show you how it's done. Here is plain granulated sugar. And here's that blue food coloring. To that granulated sugar, you just throw a few drops of your beautiful blue food coloring. Isn't that magic? I love this trick. It's a trick for all ages, I think. Look at that great blue sugar you made to top your cake. How fun was that? Okay, put that toothpick in, and it came out clean. That has been 25 minutes. We have to let our cakes thoroughly cool before we frost them, because if we don't, that creamy base to our frosting is going to make a big mess. It's going to run all over our cakes. It's been an hour and a half, and the cake has cooled down, so we need to take it out of those pans. So I take a knife, and I go around the cake. Now this is how we get the cake to stack up properly. It plunks when it's ready. Next we center it with whatever we're going to be displaying our cake on. Okay. We did it. So let's frost our first layer with that great frosting. That cream cheese and that butter and that frosting is the perfect cream cheese frosting, so save that recipe for lots of cakes. So I put a whole bunch on the top, And around we go. Time for the second layer. Here goes my knife around the edges. My trick. Plop. So with your hand, put it on the bottom of that cake. And up we go. Center your top layer right on top of your frosting. So what I do is I put it on top first, just a little bit. So now let's do our sides. Now it's time to decorate our blue velvet cake. I'm just making sure my sugar isn't sticking together. And we're going to make a cute little design. So watch this. I just pinch that sugar and I'm gonna go around that cake in a circle, just following the outline. This is a fun art project. Oh man, let's see what's inside. This is gonna be my best bite of today. This is velvet, blue velvet, fit for royalty. Subscribe to my channel and bon appetit. If you want to make any of the recipes you saw on my show today, I've posted them all on YouTube. I'm going to show you how to find them so you can jot the recipes down and make it at your own house. So you got to get to a computer, you press your website browser, go to your address bar, and you type in www.youtube.com. Enter. Then YouTube's going to have its own little search bar. So in that search bar, you type in Rebecca Brand Recipes. You hit enter on your keyboard, and then you're going to get my page. So my page is going to come up, and then you want to search for the recipe you saw on the show. So you go into this little black thing. It's a black search bar. It's like you can never see it, so let me show you where it is. And in that bar, you type in what you saw. Let's say you saw a chicken recipe. So if you type in chicken and you press return, you're going to get all my chicken dishes. And then you can just click on whatever chicken you want. It's as simple as that. So start watching the video, and in it comes the recipe. So you click pause, and that's it. Get your pencil and paper together, start writing. Those are the ingredients, and they're exactly what I make on camera. For the techniques, you might want to watch it again. But bon appetit, happy cooking, and I'd love to know how it turns out. Cheers.